remember when I was in elementary school, I would always be talking to my friends, and we'd always talk about like the teachers and what's going on. And sometimes they thought that teachers would like live at school. So I always thought this was strange because like my mom's a teacher, so she always came home at night. And as the years passed, the less I started to enjoy school. I started to enjoy school less just because of like the teachers and what was being taught. It was like hard and confusing for me to learn. That's life, right? Like getting more, more challenging. And but even though it does get harder, it doesn't mean that it should be less enjoyable for the teachers or for the students. So, and then in 7th grade till like now, I just realized that my mom spends more time at school and more time bringing schoolwork home. And the impact on me, there's a large impact because I rarely ever see her, and when I do, it's at night to tell her good night because she's on her way to bed. So, does this seem right? Like, home is a place to go home, like to relax and just spend time with family. So I believe that teachers should have the own rule of their classroom so they can be the ones to decide what goes on and how they treat the students. So most students, like us, we think that teaching is easy, that the teachers just come in, teach us, and then go home. But these teachers have to have specific lessons that they have to hit due to the standards of Indiana, and like each state has their different standard. But these different things have to be learned before the end of the year so these students can be seen as progressing and so that they can go on to the next grade level. And then every student doesn't learn the same way. So I mean there are visual learners, there are hands-on learners, and there are auditory learners. But the time can't be spent on each student's way of learning because of the time that these teachers have to fit in all of these types of standards, and that they just can't meet everybody's needs at the same time. And then there is more than one way to solve a problem, and it should be taught, but they don't have the time. So then another main thought that most students have, I know I have, is that teachers don't care about the students and like the stress level they have, and that teachers only care about their class, and their class is the most important. Well, according to a survey given to 414,000 6th graders and 12th grade students, 48% of the students felt like the teachers didn't care about them, and 45% said that they didn't think that teachers cared that they were even at school. And then there's also like the stress level factor. The stress level on a scale of 1 to 10 of students is 5.8 when compared to adults is 5.1. So in high school you can completely tell that there's a significant difference in stress. So, but the stress isn't due to the teachers themselves, it's due to the standards that they have to meet before the end of the year. So then teachers' jobs are harder than we actually think. So there are administration and us students, we don't actually know what goes on behind the scenes because we aren't best friends with teachers. So my mom has to do these lesson plans, and they have to cover every 15 minutes in detail and everything, and she has to make these so the principal can come in and find whatever time it is, look in her plans, and know exactly what she's doing at that time. So, and then that takes her about like 4 hours or so to just to get it done, just to get a complete lesson together. So then she also has to grade papers for these students. I mean, all teachers do. And then they also have to create something interesting for people to, for the students to want to engage in, to want to learn. So then Senora Tencher spends about 14 hours a day at school, and because she wants to see us succeed. And then my mom spends about 9 to 10 hours at school because she has to get her classroom ready in the morning, and then she stays up again at night to finish her plans so she doesn't have to bring them home, and so she can also get the stuff ready that she needs for the next day. So then my mom also has bought behavioral incentives for the kids because it just gives them a better idea of maybe I can do well and maybe I want to succeed. And then they also spend multiple hours outside of school in the summer on teaching how to teach kids better, and then learning new standards and other technological classes too with the expanding technology. So there is a need for the run of their own classroom because then they can decide what's better for the students. They can decide when the students need the stuff that they need. and then they can help with the long run with students because then they can understand this stuff longer and more one-on-one time. So I want to leave you today. I want to ask you how much you know about what teachers really do and what they do for you. And think about the time they spend outside of school for you and the classes that they take for you. Now, if there isn't the run of their own classrooms, think about the teachers in the future and think about the time that they won't get to spend with their parents, like I don't get to spend that much time with my mom.
If they took the standards away, do you feel like teachers would maybe not be so strict on what they teach and how much they teach a year or not?
I think there's always going to be standards because we're going to have to learn something to show that there is progress and that we are doing something. But I don't think that just the standards they have to cover should be easier to convey to the students and what they do. Did that answer anything?
Yeah.
Elizabeth?
Are teachers paid on salary or by hours?
Teachers do have a salary, and it also depends on where they are, if they have their master's degree too. And then now, they're paid on how well students do on tests that they take. It's state tests. And a certain percentage of the students have to pass this line, and if they don't, then they get deemed unhelpful or something, and they don't get the pay they should receive.
Aside from the stress that it causes, would you say the higher standards makes a more well-rounded student?
The higher standards, well, yes, but the higher the standard, the more that the teachers themselves have to work, and then the higher that the students have to work too. So what I mean by the standards is that I think that they should be just a general level. If you want to exceed and excel, go farther, you can do that on your own. You may need a little push, but I think you could do it on your own if you want it to go.
All right, thank you.